Imagine standing at the edge of a vast, untamed forest, where the only sounds are the whispers of the wind and the distant calls of creatures unseen. The air is heavy with mystery, thick with the scent of damp earth, and every shadow seems to hold a secret, waiting to be uncovered. This is the world of ancient folklore, a time when the lines between the known and the unknown were blurred, and every rustle in the woods, every flicker of a shadow, could mean the different story between safety and danger. The people who lived in these lands believed that magic, that mysterious force, was woven into the very fabric of their world. It wasn't a distant concept, something relegated to ancient scrolls or whispered stories. Magic was real, and it thrived in the very air they breathed. The earth beneath their feet was sacred, filled with secrets and powers that only a few could truly understand. Beneath the trees, the soil held ancient power. It was not just the land that provided food and shelter, but the soil itself was thought to be alive, pulsating with energies. The villagers, upon hearing the wind stirring the leaves, believed it was the breath of ancient spirits moving across the earth. Every flicker of movement in the woods was not just the wind, but the quiet rustling of long-forgotten gods, their stories still alive in the very air. In the villages nestled deep within the forest, a group of elders would often gather around the hearth, their faces lit by the soft glow of firelight. The crackling of the flames was accompanied by the faint sound of chanting, as they spoke of long-dead kings, powerful beings and creatures that once roamed the lands. But what was most captivating were the tales of the beasts, the wolves that roamed in packs under the moonlight, the dragons that were said to sleep beneath the mountains, waiting to awaken and destroy anything that dared disturb their slumber. You could hear them in the rustling of the trees, in the wind's voice, carrying with it whispers of ancient times. The elders spoke of these creatures not as fantastical myths, but as beings of flesh and bone. They walked in the world, invisible yet ever-present, influencing the lives of every villager. And in the depth of night, when the wind howled like the cries of the lost, the villagers would shudder in fear, for they knew that in the darkness these beasts could appear. Every child grew up on these stories, and with them came a deep sense of unease, but also fascination. There was power in the belief, a kind of quiet, unspoken reverence. You learned early on that the land was not a place of comfort. It was a place of mystery, of danger, and of magic. To venture too deep into the forest, to step beyond the familiar boundaries, was to step into a realm where the rules of the natural world no longer applied. As you wandered through the village, past the stone cottages and thatched roofs, you could hear the hum of conversation, the quiet voices of families discussing the day's work. But even as the village appeared calm and peaceful, you felt the weight of ancient eyes upon you, eyes that had seen civilizations rise and fall, eyes that had witnessed the battles of kings and the rise of gods. The land had borne witness to everything, and it remembered. The wind picked up again, sending a shiver through your spine, its chill carrying the scent of the trees, the earth, and the whispers of the past. For a moment you could almost hear the voices of the gods themselves, murmuring through the rustling leaves. The stories, the legends, they were not just tales, they were real, and they were everywhere. As the moon rises higher, casting its soft light across the landscape, the world seems to hold its breath. The night deepens, and with it, the sense of mystery that fills the air. The sounds of the night are subtle, distant whispers carried on the breeze, yet the silence is never truly empty. There is something lurking just beyond the edge of the world, something ancient, powerful, and untamable. In the heart of the forest, where the trees are tall and their branches weave together like the intricate patterns of a tapestry, the animals roam freely. But there is one creature, one beast, that stands above all the others. The villagers speak of it in hushed tones, a name barely spoken for fear that saying it aloud will summon its presence. It is the werewolf, a creature of the night, whose very essence is entwined with the full moon's light. The werewolf is not a simple monster. It is the embodiment of human fear and transformation, a creature that walks the line between man and beast. On nights when the moon is full, the villagers lock their doors and shutter their windows, for it is during these nights that the werewolf prowls. The beast, part man, part wolf, is said to possess the strength of 10 men and the cunning of the wildest predator. Its howl, loud and haunting, echoes through the trees, a chilling sound that sends shivers down the spine. But it is not just the werewolf that fills the villagers with unease. The forest is full of other creatures, each more terrifying than the last. There are dragons, their scales gleaming like gold under the sunlight, their eyes burning with an ancient fire. These creatures, often depicted in the myths, are said to live beneath the earth, hidden in dark caves or deep within the mountains. They are guardians of treasure, hoarding gold and jewels that they have claimed as their own. To cross paths with one of these beasts is to invite destruction. And then there are the spirits, the restless souls that walk the earth at night. Unlike the werewolf or the dragon, these creatures are not bound to flesh and bone. They are ethereal, their forms shifting and fading in and out of sight. They are the ghosts of the past, the souls of those who have passed from this world but have not found peace. Their whispers are carried on the wind, and sometimes, in the quiet of the night, you can hear them calling your name. The villagers live with the knowledge that these creatures are real. They are not stories told by the fireside, not myths passed down through generations. They are part of the land, part of the world, and so the villagers respect them, fear them, but also revere them. The beasts that roam the earth, the dragons that guard their treasures, and the spirits that wander the night are all part of a larger, more mysterious world. They are not to be feared out of hatred, but out of respect for their power. As you walk through the village, you can feel the weight of their presence, the heavy gaze of the creatures that inhabit the night. There is no denying their power, no escaping the reality that these beasts share the world with you. The villagers have long accepted this, have long lived alongside these creatures, their lives shaped by the knowledge that they are not the dominant force in this world. But there is something powerful about that knowledge. There is a strange kind of peace that comes with recognizing that you are part of something larger, something more ancient and more powerful. The beasts that walk the land, whether in the form of the werewolf, the dragon, or the spirit, remind you of the delicate balance between life and death, man and beast. They are not evil, they are not monsters, but rather they are forces of nature, forces that have existed long before man and will continue long after. The air grows colder as the night progresses, and the wind picks up, carrying with it the scent of the earth, the trees, and the creatures that roam it. The shadows in the forest deepen, and the moonlight cast an eerie glow over the land, making the trees seem to stretch higher, their branches reaching out like arms. The sound of the river flowing steadily through the land is almost hypnotic, and as you listen to it, you can't help but feel a sense of wonder at the world's vastness. The beasts are always there, lurking just out of sight, but they are not to be feared. They are part of the world, part of the rhythm of life. They are the keepers of the balance, the protectors of the land, and in their presence there is both fear and reverence, a deep understanding that, while they may be terrifying, they are not to be feared blindly, but rather respected for the power they hold. As the night deepens, the world seems to become quieter, the sounds of the creatures of the night fading into the background. The fire in the village burns low, its light soft and comforting, the crackling of the flames blending with the rustling of the leaves in the breeze. The creatures of the night are out there, somewhere, but for now they are hidden in the shadows, leaving you with a sense of peace. The night is still, the air cool, and the stars shine brightly above. Tomorrow will come, but for now, there is only rest. The rhythm of the night continues steady and sure, and you are part of it. The beasts may roam the land, but tonight they are silent, and the world is at peace. You breathe deeply, feeling the cool night air fill your lungs, and you drift into sleep, knowing that the creatures of the night will continue their watch, as they have for centuries. As the night settles deeper, a stillness hangs in the air, thick and almost tangible. The breeze, once cool and comforting, now feels heavy, laden with the weight of something unseen, something ancient. The shadows that stretch across the land grow longer, darker, as if they are reaching out to pull everything into the embrace of the night. The village, though quiet, is not entirely still. There is something in the air, a hum, an energy that makes your skin prickle. It is as if the earth itself is holding its breath, waiting for something to shift, something to emerge from the darkness. The spirits of the past walk in the shadows, their presence felt but rarely seen. They are not the malevolent spirits of nightmares, but rather the souls of the departed who have not found peace. They linger in the corners of the village, in the depths of the forest, in the spaces between the living and the dead. They are a part of the world just as much as the living, but they exist on a different plane, one that is not easily understood. The villagers speak of them in hushed tones, their voices low and cautious, for they know the spirits are not to be trifled with. They are not mere ghosts wandering aimlessly through the world. No, these spirits have purpose. They have unfinished business, something that binds them to the earth, preventing them from moving on. Some are said to return seeking revenge for wrongs committed in life. Others simply search for a way to resolve the conflicts that kept them trapped between worlds. On nights like these, when the wind howls through the trees, the villagers can feel the spirits stirring. Their presence is subtle at first, a shift in the air, a chill that moves across the skin like a whisper. But then, as the night deepens, the feeling becomes stronger, more pronounced. You can hear their voices, faint but unmistakable, carried on the wind. Sometimes they come as whispers, soft and almost melodic, like the distant murmur of a river, and other times they come with a force that makes the ground tremble beneath your feet. As you sit in the quiet of the night, you feel the hairs on the back of your neck rise, a shiver running down your spine. The spirits are near, their presence almost overwhelming in its intensity. It is not fear that grips you, but a deep sense of awe, a recognition that these beings, though intangible, are as real as the earth beneath you. Their voices, faint as they are, seem to reverberate through the very air, calling from the depths of time, echoing across the centuries. You think back to the stories the elders used to tell, of the restless spirits that roam the land at night, their forms barely visible, drifting through the shadows like smoke. They were not seen as evil, but as tragic figures, caught in the limbo between life and death, unable to move on because of unfinished business. Some, the elders said, were bound to the village, their spirits tied to the land, waiting for a resolution to the struggles they had faced in life. There is one story that stands out among all the others. It is the story of a woman who lived many generations ago, a healer, whose wisdom was sought after by all who lived in the village. She was known for her kindness, for her ability to cure illnesses and ease the pain of others. But when she died, the villagers felt something was wrong. Her spirit did not rest. They say that in the dead of night she would appear at the edge of the village, her figure barely visible, draped in the same white robes she had worn in life. She would stand silently, watching the village, but never speaking, never moving. Her spirit was trapped, the villagers believed, because of a single mistake she had made in her life, an error that she could not forgive herself for. As the night deepens, the wind shifts, and you feel the presence of the spirits grow stronger, as if they are gathering around you, watching you from the shadows. There is no fear in their presence, no sense of danger, but a deep, unshakable understanding that you are not alone. These spirits are not just remnants of the past. They are part of the living world, forever woven into the fabric of the earth, lingering just beyond the veil. The village, though still, is full of their presence. The soft creak of the wooden houses, the rustling of the leaves in the trees, the distant murmur of the river, all of it seems to carry a deeper meaning, a resonance that connects the past and the present. The spirits are always there, lingering just beneath the surface, waiting for the right moment to reveal themselves. You can feel their presence in the quiet of the night, in the rustling of the wind, in the very stillness that seems to stretch on forever. As you settle into the quiet of the night, you close your eyes and let the calm wash over you. The spirits, though unseen, are with you, their presence a comforting reminder of the continuity of life. They are not ghosts of fear or regret, but part of the eternal rhythm of life and death. And in their presence you find a sense of peace, knowing that they too are part of the world. They are not forgotten. They are simply waiting, just as we all are, for the next step in the cycle of life to unfold. The night seems to hold a deeper, darker silence now, as if the world itself is holding its breath, waiting for something to happen. The moon, full and bright, hangs high above, casting long, eerie shadows across the land. The wind has picked up, and with it comes the scent of the earth, sharp and alive, mingling with the faintest trace of something more, something old and mysterious. The stillness of the night is almost oppressive, thick with the weight of unseen forces. You can feel the change in the air, a shift, as though something long hidden is finally beginning to emerge. This is the world of witches, the women whose very existence was bound to the arcane and the mysterious, whose powers were feared, revered, and misunderstood. In the medieval world, witches were not seen simply as women who practiced magic. They were believed to be agents of the devil, creatures who could summon the forces of darkness, control the elements, and weave spells that could bring about life or death. They were not just practitioners of forbidden knowledge, they were the very embodiment of fear, the representation of everything that could not be explained, everything that was beyond human understanding. The villagers speak of the witches in hushed tones, their voices barely above a whisper, for the very mention of a witch's name was said to invite her presence. Witches, they believed, walked between the worlds, between the land of the living and the land of the dead. They were said to possess the power to cast curses, to heal the sick, or to bring misfortune to those who angered them. The line between healer and demon was thin, and the villagers had long learned that to speak of a witch was to invite danger. In the heart of the village there is a small cottage, hidden away at the edge of the forest. It is here that the women who were believed to be witches lived, isolated from the rest of the village, shunned by many, yet drawn to by others seeking answers. The cottage is dark, its windows covered with thick curtains to keep out the light, its door never fully open, always locked or barred. The firelight from within flickers dimly through the cracks in the wood, casting long, jagged shadows that dance against the walls. The air inside is thick with the smell of herbs, potions, and something else, something bitter and unfamiliar. These women were not simply feared, they were hunted. The fear that clung to their existence led to a frenzy of accusations, and in this time, fear was enough to condemn a person to death. When someone fell ill, when crops failed, when an animal died for no apparent reason, the village would point to the women who lived on the fringes, the ones who spoke with strange words, who walked alone at night, who seemed to have knowledge beyond the ordinary. And with that fear, a hunt would begin. Witches were burned at the stake, their lives sacrificed to appease the unseen forces they were believed to control. The flames, red and bright, would consume their bodies, but not their spirits. The villagers believed that the witch's soul would rise from the ashes, ready to seek vengeance on those who had condemned her. And so, the cycle continued. Fear, accusation, execution, and then the return of the witch in another form, ready to start the dance all over again. The witches of the village would often gather in secret, in the deep woods where the trees whispered their ancient secrets. The wind would carry their chants, their voices rising into the night like an ancient hymn, calling upon the forces that governed the natural world. They would dance around the fire, their movements slow and deliberate, as if the flames themselves were alive, responding to their every step. The heat of the fire would rise, but the witches did not flinch. Their faces, illuminated by the flickering light, held no fear. Instead, there was a quiet power in their eyes, a knowing that they were connected to something greater than the world around them. The dance, however, was not merely about magic. It was an act of defiance, an act of reclamation. These women, often cast out, often betrayed, used the magic they possessed as a way to fight back against a world that had rejected them. The fire they danced around was both their destruction and their salvation. The flames that burned them were the same flames that lit their path to power. And as they danced in the firelight, their souls were not bound by the chains of the village or the law of men. They were free, free to move between worlds, free to walk in the shadows where others feared to tread. As the night wears on, the village falls back into its quiet routine, but there is always an undercurrent of unease, a lingering tension in the air. The stories of witches, of their dances and their powers, are never far from the minds of the villagers. The night creatures stir in the shadows, and somewhere in the darkness, you can almost feel the witches' eyes watching, waiting, their spirits alive and restless. Tomorrow will come, just as it always does, with its work, its tasks, its rhythm. The villagers will rise with the sun, and the cycle of life will continue. But for tonight there is only the silence of the earth, the whisper of the wind and the soft glow of the moon. The witches are gone, their dance complete for another night, but their legacy, their power, remains in the shadows, waiting for the next chapter to unfold. As the night gradually retreats, yielding to the soft light of dawn, a quiet calm settles over the village. The first rays of sunlight touch the earth, painting the world in shades of gold and pink. The air, cool and crisp, carries with it the scent of the desert, a mixture of earth, stone, and the faintest trace of the river's life-giving flow. The rhythm of the village resumes, slow and steady, but for a moment it feels as if time itself has taken a breath, exhaling the anxieties of the night. The day has arrived, but even as the sun rises and the village comes to life, there is a lingering echo of the darkness that came before. The whispers of the night, the stories of the witches, the dragons and the spirits continue to stir in the minds of the villagers. They may have moved on with their tasks, resumed their work, but the stories live on. They are etched into the very fabric of their lives, woven into the daily routine, like a song that continues long after the music has stopped. The legends, once filled with terror, now seem distant, almost surreal, yet their shadow still lingers. The fear they once invoked has softened over time, transformed into something else, something that is no longer just about the fear of monsters and witches, but about the wonder of the unknown, the mysteries that still remain beyond the understanding of the everyday person. The stories of old, told by the fire and whispered in the wind, have become more than just tales to frighten children. They are the very pulse of the village, the heartbeat of a culture that knows both fear and fascination. In the quiet hours of the early morning, as the village stirs to life, the memory of the witches' dances lingers in the air, a faint vibration of the past that refuses to be erased. The moon that watched over their rituals is now hidden behind the bright sunlight, but the magic that once filled the air still echoes in the stories passed down from one generation to the next. The villagers may not speak of it openly, but they carry the knowledge, the legacy of these ancient beliefs within them. The river, ever flowing, moves through the land with the same unhurried pace as the generations before. Its steady rhythm, like the cycle of life itself, is a reminder that the past, though distant, is never truly gone. It continues to flow in the stories told, in the traditions upheld, and in the very air they breathe. The villagers live in the present, but the past is always with them. In the ground they walk on, in the air they breathe, in the very essence of the world around them. As the day moves forward, the stories of the witches, the beasts and the spirits remain a part of the landscape. Though now they are softened by the light of the sun, the fear they once inspired has been tempered with understanding, and what was once seen as malevolent is now viewed through a lens of wonder. The villagers no longer live in constant fear of the witch's return, but they remember. They remember the power that was once wielded, the mysteries that once threatened their safety, and they carry that memory with them, a silent respect for the forces that they cannot control. The legacy of the past is not just about fear, it is about reverence. The power of the earth, the sky, the river, the moon, these things were once considered to be filled with untold mysteries, and now they remain just as profound. The villagers have learned to live alongside the unknown, not in terror, but in quiet acknowledgement of its place in the world. The witches and spirits, the creatures that roam the earth, though their presence has softened, they still remain part of the tapestry of life. And as the sun climbs higher in the sky, you realize that the legacy of these ancient beliefs is woven into every action, every thought, and every breath that is taken. You walk through the village once more, feeling the earth beneath your feet, the sun warming your skin. The world around you is alive, full of rhythm, full of purpose. The stories of the past no longer haunt the present. They have become part of the village's identity, part of the living tradition that connects the past with the present, the human with the supernatural. The magic, once feared, is now accepted as part of life's cycle. The witches, the beasts, the spirits, they are not gone. They are simply woven into the fabric of time, existing just beyond the veil, part of the ongoing rhythm that shapes this world. Tomorrow will come, as it always does, with its tasks, its work, and its rhythm. But for now, there is only this moment. The sun rises, the village awakens, and life continues in its unbroken flow. The legacy of the past, full of wonder and fear, lives on in the stories, in the hearts of the people, and in the very land beneath their feet. And in this moment there is peace. As the sun sets once more, casting long shadow across the land, the quiet hum of the world is replaced by an eerie silence. The trees stand tall and still, their leaves barely stirring in the soft evening breeze. The air is cool, carrying with it the earthy scent of the forest. Damp and fresh, a reminder that the earth itself is alive, breathing. The village, nestled at the edge of the woods, is calm, but there is an undercurrent of unease, a quiet tension that seems to fill the air as the evening deepens. It is during these hours when the light fades and the shadows lengthen that the creatures of the forest begin to stir. The wind picks up again, rustling through the trees, and in the distance you can hear the faint rustle of leaves. Something moving, something watching. The forest is not empty. It is full of life, full of mystery. The beasts that roam these woods are not the monsters of nightmares, but they are creatures to be respected, even feared. They are part of the land, as much a part of the earth as the trees and the river. The villagers speak of these creatures in hushed tones, their voices low and cautious, for to venture too deep into the woods is to risk encountering one of them. There are the wolves, their eyes glowing like fire in the darkness, their howls filling the night with a mournful cry. There are the boars, their tusks sharp and deadly, roaming the forest floor in search of food. And there are the wildcats, their movements silent and swift, stalking through the underbrush with the stealth of a shadow. These beasts are not to be trifled with. They are part of the natural world, powerful and untamable. The villagers have learned to live alongside them, to respect their territory and their strength. But that respect does not diminish the fear that lingers whenever one of these creatures is near. They are the predators, and the villagers are the prey. It is a delicate balance, one that has existed for as long as anyone can remember, and it is a balance that is never taken for granted. As the darkness deepens, the forest seems to come alive. The creatures hidden in the shadows move with purpose, their eyes gleaming in the moonlight. The wolves, their sleek forms moving in and out of the trees, are the most feared. Their howl, though haunting, is a sound that calls to the primal part of the soul, a reminder of the untamed world beyond the village's reach. The wolves are not merely animals, they are symbols of the wild, of freedom, of strength. They move with the night, with the rhythm of the land, untethered to the rules of man. The villagers know that to cross paths with a wolf is to face danger. The beasts hunt in packs, and their coordination is flawless. They can track prey for miles, their keen senses guiding them through the darkest of nights. It is said that a wolf will only attack when it is hungry, when it is desperate, but the fear is always there. The fear of being caught in the forest, alone, with no one to hear your cries for help. But it is not just the wolves that fill the villagers with dread. The boars, though smaller in size, are just as dangerous. Their tusks can pierce through flesh, their powerful bodies capable of charging through the thickest of woods. The villagers tell tales of men who were gored by a boar, their bodies left broken and bleeding in the woods. The boar is a creature of rage, driven by a primal instinct that cannot be reasoned with. It is a creature that fights not just for survival, but for its place in the world. The villagers know that a boar will not hesitate to charge if it feels threatened, and the consequences can be deadly. And then there are the wildcats, their sleek bodies moving silently through the trees. These creatures are the true hunters of the forest, their eyes sharp and their movements fluid. They are not easily seen, their stealth unmatched by any other predator. They stalk their prey with the patience of a shadow, waiting for the right moment to strike. They are the most elusive of all the creatures in the woods, and perhaps the most feared. For to see a wildcat is to know that you are being watched, that you are no longer alone in the woods. As the night deepens further, the sounds of the forest grow louder. The rustling of the leaves, the soft padding of paws on the earth, the distant howl of the wolves. The village, though close, feels far away now, separated by the dark expanse of the woods. The creatures of the forest are all around you, their eyes glinting in the moonlight, their movements graceful and sure. They are not evil, they are not monsters. They are simply part of the world, part of the rhythm that sustains the land. As you lie beneath the stars, feeling the cool earth beneath you, you realize that these creatures are not just animals. They are symbols of the wildness that exists beyond the village, beyond the rules of man. They are reminders that there is something untamed in the world, something powerful and uncontrollable, and that despite the safety of the village, there is still danger in the world, waiting in the shadow. Tomorrow will come, as it always does, and the rhythm of the day will begin again. The village will wake, the sun will rise, and the cycle of life will continue. But for now, there is only the peace of the night, the soft rustling of the wind, the distant call of the wolves, and the quiet presence of the creatures that roam the land. The night is still, but It is full of life, full of mystery, and full of the quiet power of the beasts that walk the earth. The wind has shifted, carrying with it a colder edge, a whisper of something darker. The once welcoming air, warm and full of promise, has now taken on a sense of foreboding. It is in these moments, when the night grows colder and the sky grows darker, that the whispers of the witches are felt most strongly. The village, once calm and peaceful, seems to hold its breath, as if it too is waiting for something to stir from the shadows. Witches, those women who danced with the powers beyond human understanding, have long been a part of the world. Their existence has always been shrouded in mystery, a blend of fear and fascination. In the medieval world, they were both revered and reviled, seen as healers and destroyers, the wielders of knowledge and the arbiters of fate. To cross paths with one was to step into a world where the rules of nature no longer applied, where the boundaries between life and death were blurred, and where magic, both dark and light, danced in the air like a flame, flickering in the shadows. As the moon rises high in the sky, casting its cold, silvery light over the land, the village falls into a hush. The wind carries with it the faintest scent of herbs, sage, thyme, lavender, things often used in the ancient rituals of the witches. The very air feels different, charged with an energy that is not of this world. It is a reminder that in the deepest parts of the forest, in the shadows of the village, there are those who walk a different path. The witches do not belong to the ordinary world. They belong to a realm where the unseen rules the visible, where the boundaries between life and death are but a thin veil. The villagers, though they may not speak of them openly, know the power that the witches hold. They speak of them in hushed tones, their voices barely above a whisper, as if saying their names aloud would bring the very darkness they fear. The witches are not like the common folk. They do not follow the same rules, live by the same customs. They are solitary figures, often shunned by society, yet always drawn to the edge of the village, where the forest begins, where the old, forgotten magic still lingers in the air. In the dark corners of the village, away from the prying eyes of the townsfolk, the witches gather. The forest, dark and ancient, is their sanctuary. Here, amidst the gnarled trees and the thick, twisting vines, they commune with forces that the village can neither understand nor control. The ground beneath their feet is soft, damp with the moisture of the earth, and the air is thick with the scent of pine and earth. The firelight flickers in their eyes, casting shadows that dance across the faces of the women. Their movements are fluid, practiced, as they perform their ancient rituals. The chanting begins low and rhythmic, a sound that rises and falls with the wind. It is a sound that vibrates in the air, almost like the heartbeat of the earth itself. The witches do not fear the darkness, they embrace it. They have long known that it is within the shadows that true power lies, that the secrets of the universe are hidden. They do not shy away from the unknown, they seek it out. They dance in the firelight, their movements flowing like a river, twisting and turning, as if they are one with the very earth beneath their feet. The fire crackles, casting a warm glow on their faces, but it is the shadows that draw their attention, the dark corners where the real magic resides. The village, far away, continues in its daily rhythm. But tonight, in the forest, the witches are dancing, weaving their spells, calling upon the ancient powers that have always been there, waiting to be awakened. The world outside may seem still, but within the darkness of the forest, the witches are at work. They are calling to the spirits, to the forces of nature, to the powers that lie beyond the veil. The dance is not one of joy, but of purpose. A purpose that only they understand. A purpose that binds them to the very essence of the earth. As the ritual reaches its peak, the air grows thick with magic, electric and charged. The fire burns brightly now, its flames leaping into the night sky, but the true power lies in the shadows. The witches raise their hands, their eyes closed in concentration, their bodies moving with the rhythm of the earth. The firelight flickers and dances, casting shadows that seem to move on their own, as if the very night itself is alive, pulsing with energy. It is a dance of power, of knowledge, of forces beyond the understanding of the common folk. The night stretches on, the witches continuing their dance, their chant rising and falling like the tide. And in that moment, as the moon shines down and the earth hums beneath them, they are not just women. They are forces of nature, agents of the unknown, walking the fine line between life and death, between the seen and the unseen. They are the keepers of ancient secrets, the bearers of power, and they move through the night like shadows, untouchable, unknowable, and unstoppable. As the night finally begins to wane, the witch's ritual slows. The fire burns lower, its light fading, but the magic lingers in the air, thick and heavy, like a fog that refuses to lift. The women, their faces illuminated by the dying light, stand in the quiet of the forest, their hands still raised, their eyes closed. The world around them is still, the air holding the last remnants of the ritual's power. The spirits, the forces they called upon, fade into the night, retreating into the shadows where they belong. The witches know that the ritual is over, for now. The magic has been released, the connection made, and as they walk away from the fire back into the shadows of the forest, they are reminded that the power they wield is not theirs alone. It is a gift, a responsibility, and a burden. The village may never understand, may never fully accept them, but that is of little consequence. They are part of the earth, part of the rhythm of life, and they will continue their work, waiting for the next call, the next ritual, the next moment when the world needs their power once more. As the night slips further into the quiet hours, the air seems to hum with an unseen energy, like the world itself is holding its breath, waiting for the final moment of the witch's ritual. The shadows are long now, stretching across the earth like dark fingers, as the moon, full and bright, continues its slow ascent in the sky. The fire that had once blazed brightly now flickers with a softer, more subdued glow. But the magic, the pulse of life still lingers in the air, thick with the scent of herbs and smoke. The witches, their hands still raised toward the heavens, stand in a circle around the fire, their faces illuminated by the soft light of the embers. Their eyes are closed, lost in the rhythm of the chant, their voices weaving together in perfect harmony. It is a language that is not of this world, a language of the earth, the sky, and the unseen forces that move through the land. The rhythm of the chant is steady, slow, but powerful, echoing through the very air, like a pulse that matches the heartbeat of the earth. As the chant continues, you can feel the energy in the air shift. It is subtle at first, a lightness that fills your chest, as if the very air is charged with the force of their magic. The night, once heavy with the weight of the world, now seems lighter, as if the earth itself has been awakened by the witch's words. The power they wield is palpable, a force that is both ancient and timeless, woven into the fabric of the world itself. The forest around them seems to come alive, the leaves rustling in time with the witch's chant, the air thick with the power of the ritual. There is no fear in the witch's eyes, only focus, only determination. They are not just calling upon the forces of the earth, they are connecting to something deeper, something older. The power they summon is not theirs alone. It belongs to the land, to the world itself. They are merely the vessels, the conduits through which this power flows. And in that moment the air grows heavier, the wind stills, and the world holds its breath. The fire, once a crackling blaze, now burns with a quiet, steady flame, casting long shadows across the earth. The witches lower their hands, their chant fading into the silence, but the magic, the energy they have summoned, lingers, filling the air like a thick mist. It is a power that cannot be easily contained, a force that will remain in the land, in the village, in the hearts of the people. As the witches begin to walk away from the fire, their footsteps soft on the earth, there is a sense of finality in the air. The ritual is complete, the power has been called, and now it will fade, as all things do. The witches move with purpose, their bodies swaying gently as they retreat into the darkness of the forest, their figures melting into the shadows, as if they are one with the night itself. The fire burns low behind them, its embers flickering like the last remnants of a dream, but the magic they have woven remains in the very air, in the earth, in the hearts of all who are touched by it. The village is still, quiet, but there is a palpable change in the air. The witch's ritual has left an impression, a mark that will not easily be erased. The villagers may not speak of it, but they will feel it, in the very rhythms of their lives. The magic, though subtle, will linger, like a faint echo, a reminder of the power that moves through the world, unseen, but ever present. As the night continues to unfold, the air grows cooler, the winds whispering through the trees, the fire now reduced to glowing embers. The village has returned to its peaceful rhythm, but there is an undercurrent of something else now, something ancient, something timeless. The witch's dance is over, but its legacy remains, woven into the fabric of the village, of the land, and of the people. The moon now hangs high in the sky, its light soft and steady, casting a quiet glow over the village. The earth beneath your feet feels solid, steady, and as you close your eyes, you feel the rhythm of the world around you, steady and unbroken. The magic of the witches, the mystery of the night, all of it is part of this cycle, part of the land, part of life. Tomorrow will come, as it always does, with its work, its rhythm, and its purpose. The world will continue, the sun will rise, and the cycle will begin again. But for tonight, there is only peace. The wind moves through the trees, the night is quiet, and the world continues to turn, slowly, steadily, with the heartbeat of the earth itself. As the sun begins its slow descent beneath the horizon, painting the sky with soft hues of orange and pink, the village breathes in the quiet calm of the evening. The earth is cooling now, the heat of the day fading into the memory of the past. The gentle breeze carries the scent of the desert, mingling with the fresh fragrance of the river's flow, wrapping the village in the comforting embrace of the night. It is the time when the world feels at rest, when the struggles of the day fade, and there is only the soft rhythm of the earth's pulse. The ancient tales that had filled the minds of the villagers, tales of witches, wolves, and spirits, seem distant now, lost in the quiet hum of life. Yet, even as the world settles into its peaceful rhythm, there is something timeless about these stories, something that lingers in the air, like a faint melody that plays softly in the background. The firelight flickers in the village, casting long, dancing shadows that seem to hold the echoes of those ancient tales, their voices still lingering in the hearts of the people. You sit by the fire, feeling the warmth of the flames as they crackle softly in the night. The sound is soothing, familiar, and it brings a sense of comfort. As you watch the fire burn, you can't help but think of the stories, of the witches who once danced under the moonlight, of the wolves that roamed the forest, and of the spirits that whispered in the wind. These tales were once full of fear, full of danger and mystery, but now they have softened. They have become part of the land, part of the rhythm of life that moves through the village, through the earth, and through the hearts of the people. The fire burns low, its embers glowing softly in the dark, and the world around you seems to slow, to settle into a deep, peaceful rhythm. The day's work is done, and the night is here, bringing with it the promise of rest, of renewal. The villagers have gone to their homes, their voices fading into the distance, leaving behind only the soft sounds of the wind and the river. The world is quiet, but it is full of stories, full of memories, full of the legacy of the past. The witches, the wolves, the spirits, they are no longer the terrifying figures they once were. They are not forgotten, but they are now part of the world in a different way. The fear they once inspired has turned into wonder, into reverence. They are no longer seen as monsters, but as symbols of something greater, something beyond understanding. They are part of the natural world, just as much a part of the land as the trees, the river, and the stars above. The legacy of these tales is not just about fear. It is about the wonder that comes from the unknown, from the mysteries of the world that cannot be explained. The villagers may no longer speak of the witches by the firelight, but the stories are still there, in their hearts, in their dreams, in the way they move through the world. They live in the very rhythm of life, in the seasons, in the changing of the earth, in the flow of the river. As you sit there, watching the last of the fire burn out, you realize that the true power of these tales lies not in the fear they once brought, but in the way they shaped the people who believed in them. The witches, the beasts, the spirits, they are not just figures of the past. They are part of the legacy of the village, part of the stories that have been passed down through generations. And as you sit there, in the quiet of the night, you feel connected to that legacy, to the rhythm of life that has been here long before you, and will continue long after you are gone. Tomorrow will come, and the cycle will continue. The sun will rise, the village will wake, and the rhythm of life will begin again. But for now, there is only the stillness of the night, the quiet peace that fills the world. The witches dance, the wolves howl, the spirits whispers. They are all part of the world, part of the eternal flow of life that continues, steady and sure, just as it always has. You close your eyes, the quiet of the world settling around you, and you let go of the weight of the day. The fire has burned out, but the warmth lingers, the stories linger, and the rhythm of the earth continues. You are part of it, just as the earth is part of you. And in that quiet connection, there is peace. As the evening sky fades from soft lavender to deep indigo, a stillness settles over the village, the cool night air sweeping over the land like a gentle caress. The earth, still warm from the sun's embrace, now cools under the moon's watchful gaze. The stars above, scattered like distant fireflies, twinkle softly, casting their faint light over the darkened landscape. There is a quiet comfort in this, a peace that blankets the land as the world prepares for another night of rest. But beneath this peaceful surface, the forest stirs. The trees, tall and ancient, stand like sentinels, their branches reaching out to touch the sky, their leaves rustling gently in the breeze. The wind carries with it the scent of damp earth and pine, the perfume of the forest after the heat of the day has faded. It is a scent that speaks of life and mystery, of stories waiting to be told. In the shadows of the trees, where the light of the moon barely touches, the creatures of the night begin to awaken. They are not monsters, but they are the wild things that roam the earth, untamed and free. There are the wolves whose eyes gleam in the dark, their fur thick and wild, their presence a constant reminder that the forest belongs to them. They move through the woods silently, their bodies sleek and powerful, their senses sharp, attuned to every sound, every movement in the night. The wildcats too are there, their lithe bodies moving through the underbrush with the grace of shadows. Their eyes gleam in the darkness, their movements so quiet, so fluid, that they are barely seen, only felt as a presence. They are the hunters of the forest, stalking silently, their patience and skill unmatched by any other creature. They are not aggressive, but they are fierce when they need to be, and they command respect. And then there are the boars, their tusks sharp and dangerous, their hooves pounding the earth as they move through the forest, searching for food. The boars are creatures of strength, their bodies thick with muscle, their movements driven by instinct. They are not the most graceful of the forest's creatures, but they are certainly among the most powerful. When they charge, the earth trembles, and the air is filled with the sound of their growls and snorts. As the night deepens, the forest becomes a world of its own, a place where the laws of nature are unbroken, where the creatures rule, and where humans are only visitors. You stand at the edge of the village, gazing out at the darkened woods. The firelight from the village flickers behind you, but it feels distant now, as if the world of man has faded away, leaving only the wilderness. You can hear the sounds of the forest now, the rustling of leaves in the trees, the soft padding of paws on the earth, the occasional howl of a wolf in the distance. The forest is alive with movement, but there is no fear in it. There is no panic, no chaos. It is simply life, moving at its own pace, following the rhythm of the earth. The creatures of the forest are not out of control. They are in tune with the world around them, moving with purpose, with a grace that only nature can provide. There is a sense of awe as you stand there, watching the forest, feeling the pulse of life that flows through it. It is a reminder that the world is vast, that there is more to it than what we see with our eyes. The creatures of the forest, the wolves, the wildcats, the boars, they are not just animals. They are part of the world, part of the earth, part of the delicate balance that sustains life. They are the embodiment of the wild, of the untamed, of the things that humans cannot control, no matter how hard they try. In the quiet of the night as the world sleeps, you can almost hear the rhythm of the forest, the pulse of the land. It is a sound that is slow and steady, a sound that is both ancient and timeless, like the beating of the earth's heart. The wolves call to one another, the wildcats move silently through the underbrush, and the boars root through the earth, all moving in their own time, in their own rhythm, all part of the same cycle. You feel the coolness of the night air against your skin as you turn to head back into the village. The forest, though full of life, seems far away now, its creatures fading into the shadows. The village is quiet, the firelight still flickering in the distance. The warmth of the flames calls to you, a reminder that there is comfort, safety, and peace in the world of man. But even as you return to the village, the forest remains with you, its presence lingering in your mind, in the rustling of the leaves, in the cool breeze on your skin. The creatures of the forest are always there, watching from the shadows, their presence a reminder that the world is much larger than what we can see. They move in the night in the quiet places where humans do not go, living their lives as they always have. And though we may fear them, though we may not fully understand them, we cannot deny their place in the world. They are part of the earth, part of the rhythm of life, and in that knowledge, there is both peace and awe. The night continues to unfold, the sounds of the forest growing softer as the village settles into rest. The creatures of the night have returned to their hidden places, their movement slowed, their presence now just a whisper in the air. The stars shine brightly above, and the world is at peace, wrapped in the quiet rhythm of the night. Tomorrow will come, with its work and its labor, but for now the world rests, and so do you. As the night deepens, the village settles into a peaceful quiet, the air cooling with the retreat of the sun. The soft murmur of the wind through the trees is the only sound that fills the silence, its whispers carrying with it the faintest traces of the past. The stars above shine brightly, each one a tiny flame in the vast darkness of the sky, their light steady and unwavering. The night, though peaceful, is not without its mysteries. The air feels thick with something unseen, a presence that lingers just beyond the edge of the village, a feeling that makes the hairs on the back of your neck stand up. In the darkness, the spirits of the past stir. They are not malevolent, but they are persistent, their presence felt in the very air. The villagers speak of them in hushed tones, their voices low, for to speak their names is to call them into being. The spirits of the dead are said to wander the land, their souls trapped between this world and the next, unable to find peace. They are the echoes of those who lived before, their stories written into the fabric of the earth, their whispers carried on the wind. The village itself is built upon the bones of the past, its streets lined with memories, its buildings rising from the earth that once held the dead. Every stone, every beam, every brick is a testament to the lives that once walked here, and the spirits of those who have passed continue to watch over the land. The villagers have learned to live with the presence of the spirits, to respect them, to offer prayers and sacrifices in hopes of appeasing them. They know that the spirits are not to be feared, but to be honored, for they are the guardians of the land, the keepers of its history. As you walk through the village, you can almost feel the weight of the past pressing in on you. The houses are old, their walls weathered by time, their windows darkened by the passage of years. The air smells faintly of incense, of burning herbs used to honor the spirits, and the faintest trace of something ancient, something that cannot be named. The streets are empty now, the sounds of the day having faded into the quiet hum of the night, but if you listen closely, you can hear the faintest whisper, like a voice calling from the darkness. The villagers too feel it. They do not speak of it often, but they know that the spirits are always with them, watching, waiting. They leave offerings of food and incense at the edges of their homes, offerings meant to honor the spirits, to keep them at peace. They are careful not to anger them, for the spirits, though not malicious, can be unpredictable. Sometimes they are kind, sending dreams of wisdom or guidance. Other times they are vengeful, sending illness or misfortune to those who have failed to show the proper respect. As the wind picks up, the trees begin to sway, their branches creaking in the night. The village is quiet, but the forest beyond is alive with sound. You can hear the rustling of leaves, the soft calls of night creatures, the whispers of the wind. The spirits are always near, lingering in the shadows, their presence like a faint chill in the air, a sensation that cannot be explained but is always felt. They are not ghosts, not in the traditional sense. They are something older, something more connected to the earth itself, and they are a part of the land, as much a part of it as the trees, the river, and the rocks. You sit by the fire, the warmth of the flames a comfort against the cool air of the night. The fire crackles softly, sending sparks into the air, and for a moment you feel a deep sense of connection to the world around you. The fire, the earth, the air, they are all part of the same rhythm, the same cycle. The spirits too are part of it, moving through the world, their whispers woven into the fabric of life. They are not gone, not truly. They are always there, lingering just beyond the veil, watching over the living. You close your eyes for a moment, letting the warmth of the fire wash over you. The village is still, the air calm, and for a fleeting moment you feel a deep peace. The spirits are watching, but they are not here to harm. They are here to guide, to protect, to remind you that you are part of something greater than yourself, something ancient and unbroken. The fire burns low now, its embers glowing softly in the night, and the world around you grows quieter. The wind has settled, and the sounds of the night are distant, almost imperceptible. The village sleeps, but the spirits remain, their presence ever watchful, ever steady. They are the keepers of the land, the guardians of the past, and though their voices may fade into the night, their power remains, woven into the very fabric of the world. As you drift off to sleep, you are not afraid. The spirits are not here to cause harm. They are simply a part of the world, part of the earth, part of the rhythm of life, and in their presence you find comfort, knowing that the world is not as empty as it sometimes seems. There is a deep, quiet power that runs through the land, through the village, through the people, and through you. The spirits are part of that power, and though they are silent, their presence is felt in every breath, every heartbeat. The world moves on as it always does, but for now, there is only the peace of the night, the gentle whisper of the wind, and the soft glow of the stars above. The spirits will continue their watch, and the world will continue to turn steady and sure. And in this moment you rest, knowing that you are part of it all. As the moon climbs higher, its silver light casting a soft glow over the land, the village remains wrapped in the peaceful embrace of the night. The air is cool now, the heat of the day long forgotten, replaced by the gentle breeze that rustles the leaves of the trees. It is a quiet night, and the kind that invites reflection and rest, a night that holds the weight of centuries in its stillness. But even as the world around you seems at rest, there is a flicker in the air, a subtle shift that stirs the earth beneath your feet. It is not an immediate change, but rather a slow, gradual shift, as if the land itself is preparing for something. The witches, though unseen, are present. They are part of the night, part of the rhythm that flows through the village and the land, connected to the earth in a way that others cannot understand. In the quiet corners of the village there are whispers, soft, low, and barely audible. They are the voices of those who remember the old ways, who speak of the witches and their power. These are the stories passed down through generations, tales of women who walked the fine line between the living and the dead, who danced with the forces of nature, weaving their magic in secret corners of the world. These stories, though old, are not forgotten. They live on in the hearts of the people, carried by the wind, carried by the earth itself. The witches are not evil, as the villagers once believed. They are not the monsters of nightmares or the agents of chaos. They are simply women who have learned to harness the power of the earth, who have tuned themselves to the rhythm of the land. Their magic is not of the kind that causes harm, but of the kind that heals, that nurtures, that creates balance in the world. They are part of the earth, just as the trees and the river are part of it. Their ritual, when it begins, is not a call for destruction, but a call for connection. The fire that burns at its heart is not a fire of anger, but a fire of creation. It is a flame that burns brightly in the darkness, casting long shadows that dance along the ground. The witches gather around it, their bodies moving in a slow, deliberate rhythm, their feet lightly tapping the earth as they chant. The words they speak are ancient, not of this world, but part of the land's pulse. Their voices rise and fall like the wind, like the river, like the heartbeat of the earth itself. As they dance, the fire seems to respond to them. The flames flicker and sway, bending to their will, rising and falling as if alive, as if they too are part of the rhythm. The witches move in time with the fire, their bodies swaying, their hands raised toward the sky, their faces illuminated by the soft glow of the embers. The forest around them is still, but the air is thick with magic, electric with power. The earth beneath their feet seems to pulse with energy, as if it is alive, breathing with them. The witches do not speak of the past, but it is there, in every movement, in every gesture. The history of their people, the struggles they have faced, the trials they have endured. It is all woven into their ritual, into their dance. Each step they take is a tribute to those who have come before them, to the women who have carried the legacy of magic through the generations. Their dance is not just a celebration of power, but a tribute to the earth, to the land, to the cycle of life and death, that has always existed. As the ritual comes to its end, the fire burns low, its embers glowing softly in the night. The witches lower their hands, their voices softening, the rhythm of their movement slowing. The energy that once filled the air begins to dissipate, leaving behind only the soft glow of the embers and the faint whisper of the wind. The village, though far away, seems to breathe with them, its rhythm in sync with theirs. The witches, their faces calm and serene, begin to move away from the fire, their footsteps light on the earth, as if they are part of the night itself. They disappear into the shadows, leaving behind only the fading warmth of the fire and the lingering scent of herbs. The land, though still, seems to hum with the energy they have released, as if it is alive, as if it is waiting for the next ritual, the next connection, the next moment when the earth will come alive once more. As the night continues, the air grows cooler, the wind softening, the village falling into its usual rhythm. The witches are gone, their ritual complete, but the energy they have left behind lingers in the land, in the very air. The villagers, though they may never understand the magic of the witches, will feel it, in the way the earth moves, in the way the winds whisper, in the way the river flows. They may never see the witches again, but they will always feel their presence, as part of the land, as part of the earth, as part of the rhythm of life. Tomorrow will come as it always does, with its work, its labor, its rhythm. The village will wake, the sun will rise, and the cycle of life will continue. But for now there is only the quiet peace of the night, the gentle whisper of the wind, and the soft glow of the stars above. The witches may have finished their dance, but the rhythm of the earth continues steady and sure, as it always has. Firelight that once flickered so brightly now burns low, its embers glowing faintly in the cool embrace of the night. The earth beneath you feels steady, unyielding, as if it has witnessed the passage of countless lives, each one a fleeting moment in the vastness of time. And yet in this quiet space there is something eternal, something unbroken. The stories of old, those ancient tales of witches, beasts and spirits, have been passed down through generations, and though they may seem distant, they are still alive in the hearts of the people, in the very soil they walk upon. As the night deepens, the village quiets, but the legacy of the past continues to hum softly beneath the surface. The whispers of the old stories linger in the wind, carried on the breeze like a forgotten lullaby. The witches' rituals, their dances with the unknown, are not merely tales of fear. They are a testament to the endurance of the human spirit, to the power of belief, and to the ways in which the unseen forces of the world shape the lives of those who walk the earth. The moon, now high in the sky, casts its soft glow over the land, bathing the village and the surrounding forest in a gentle light. The trees, tall and ancient, stand like silent sentinels, their branches reaching toward the heavens. The river flows steadily, its current never wavering, as if it too carries with it the stories of the past, the memories of those who have come before. The world is at peace, the night calm, and yet the echoes of the past are ever present, like the soft murmur of a distant memory that refuses to fade. The villagers, now settled in their homes, rest in the peace of the night. Their dreams, like the ancient stories, are filled with the echoes of the past. The witches, the spirits, the beasts, they are not forgotten. They live on in the memories of the people, in the whispers of the wind, in the rhythms of the earth. They are not just figures from the past, but part of the living, breathing world. Their presence lingers in every step the villagers take, in every action, in every prayer offered to the spirits. The night, though still, is alive with the energy of the past. The air feels thick with the weight of history, with the presence of those who have walked before. The stories of the witches, once told in hushed tones around the fire, now feel closer, more immediate. The magic, though unseen, still pulses in the land, in the very soil, in the hearts of the people. It is a magic that connects them to the earth, to the stars, and to each other. It is a magic that transcends time, that remains unchanged by the passing years. As you sit in the quiet of the night, the cool air brushing against your skin, you feel a deep sense of connection to the world around you. The village, the forest, the river, they are all part of you, part of the eternal cycle of life. The witches, the spirits, the beasts, they are not separate from the land, they are part of it. The magic that flows through the earth, through the river, through the air, is the same magic that flows through you. It is a magic that has been here long before you, and will be here long after. In this moment, you are not alone. You are part of something much larger, much older, something that stretches across time, across the land, across the very fabric of existence itself. The stories, the magic, the power, they are all part of the same rhythm, the same pulse that beats through the earth. The past, the present, and the future are all interconnected, woven together in a tapestry of life and death, of light and dark, of fear and wonder. Tomorrow will come, just as it always does. The sun will rise, the village will wake, and the rhythm of life will begin anew. But for now there is only the peace of the night, the soft whisper of the wind, and the quiet hum of the earth beneath you. The spirits, the witches, the creatures of the night, they are all part of this world, part of the legacy that has been passed down through generations. and as you close your eyes, feeling the warmth of the earth beneath you and the coolness of the night air, you realize that you too are part of this legacy. You are part of the rhythm of life, part of the earth, part of the eternal flow of the world. And in that knowledge, there is peace. For you are not alone. You are never alone. The past, the present, and the future all exist in this moment, in this place, and they will continue to move, to live, to breathe, long after the night has passed. The village sleeps, but the night continues its slow, steady march through the hours. The moon, high above, still casts its soft light over the land, but its brightness has begun to dim, as if the world is slowly retreating into the shadows. The stars above are faint now, their glow barely visible through the thickening darkness, but they are there, watching, guiding, as they have for centuries. The wind has died down, and the air is still, the earth cool beneath your feet as you walk through the quiet village. The houses, dark and silent, stand like silent sentinels, their windows closed against the night. There is a feeling of stillness, of calm, as if the world itself has paused, holding its breath before the dawn arrives. The river, once loud and constant, now flows with a quiet hum, its sound soft and distant, blending with the soft whispers of the earth. In this quiet space you feel both small and immense, as if you are a part of something much larger, something ancient and eternal. The village, the land, the river, the stars above, all of it is part of a greater whole, a cycle that has existed since the beginning of time. And in this moment, as the night stretches on, you are connected to all of it, part of the rhythm, part of the flow. The fire in the village has long since burned out, leaving behind only glowing embers that cast a faint light in the darkness. The warmth of the flames lingers in the air, a soft, comforting presence, but the fire is gone now, and the world is left with only the quiet hum of the night. The witches' dance has ended, the spirits have returned to the shadows, and the creatures of the forest have retreated into their hidden places. The world is still, but it is not empty. It is full of life, full of history, full of stories waiting to be told. You sit in the silence, feeling the cool earth beneath you, grounding you to the land, to the world. The weight of the day is gone now, replaced by the quiet peace of the night. There is no rush, no urgency. The world moves at its own pace, and you move with it, part of the rhythm, part of the land. The witches, the beasts, the spirits, they are all part of the same cycle, the same rhythm that governs the world. They are not separate from the earth, they are part of it, and you too are part of it, connected to the land, to the stories, to the magic that flows through the world. As you sit there watching the embers of the fire fade, you feel a deep sense of peace. The world is still, the air cool and soothing, and the night stretches on, but there is no fear, no unease. The fears of the past have been left behind, and in their place is a quiet acceptance, a recognition that life is not about control, but about connection. The stories of the witches, the beasts, the spirits, they are not to be feared. They are to be understood, to be respected, for they are part of the world, part of the rhythm that sustains life. The stars above shine softly, their light steady and constant, and the wind, gentle now, stirs the trees, sending a soft rustle through the leaves. The village sleeps, the night deepens, and the world continues its quiet, unbroken rhythm. There is no rush, no need to hurry. The world moves at its own pace, and you move with it. The night wears on, but you are not tired. There is no need to hurry, no need to seek out the dawn. The day will come when it is ready, and for now, the night is enough. The peace of the night wraps around you like a soft blanket, and you breathe in the cool, fresh air, letting it fill your lungs. You are part of the world, part of the land, part of the eternal cycle of life that moves, steady and sure, like the river that flows through the village. Tomorrow will come, as it always does, with its own work, its own rhythm. The village will wake, the sun will rise, and the cycle of life will continue. But for now, there is only the quiet peace of the night, the gentle whisper of the wind, and the soft glow of the stars above. The world is vast, yet in this moment, it feels small, manageable, and full of peace. You close your eyes, feeling the earth beneath you, the coolness of the air, and the peace that fills the night. Tomorrow will come, but for now, the night is all that matters. The rhythm of the world continues, steady and sure, and you, part of it, are at rest. As the night deepens further, the quiet rhythm of the earth continues, steady and unbroken. The village sleeps, but the land is alive with the hum of history. The stories, though whispered in the corners of time, continue to echo in the very air you breathe. The firelight, now nothing but embers, is but a fleeting memory, and yet the stories of the past persist. They are the quiet pulse beneath the surface of the village, the heartbeat of the earth, the soft whispers that will never fade, no matter how much time passes. In the quiet stillness, you can almost hear the voices of the past, their words faint but persistent, carried on the wind, through the trees, across the river, and into your soul. These are the voices of those who lived before, whose lives have been woven into the fabric of the land, whose stories have become part of the earth itself. The witches, the beasts, the spirits. they are not forgotten. Their power, their magic, their presence, though not seen, remains in the very soil, the very air, the very water. The ancient tales told around the fire, passed down through generations, continue to shape the lives of the villagers. These stories are not just tales to be told, they are the very essence of the land, of the people, of life itself. They are a part of the natural world, just as the trees and the river are part of it. The wind, the earth, the stars, they are not merely symbols, they are the living, breathing components of these stories. And as the world moves on, as the village wakes with the sun, these stories, though quiet, continue to guide them. They are the thread that ties the past to the present, the legacy that binds the living to the dead. The village, though small, is not isolated from the world. It is part of something much larger, something ancient, something eternal. The stories of the witches, the beasts, the spirits, they are part of this larger world. They have been carried through time, passed down through generations, and they will continue to be passed down long after the village fades into the annals of history. The stories are the legacy of the land, the whispers that have travelled across the ages, unchanged, unbroken. And as you sit there watching the village sleep, you feel the weight of these stories upon you. They are not just the past, they are the present, the future. They are the foundation upon which everything is built. The village, the people, the land, all of it is shaped by these stories, by the forces of nature, by the creatures of the night. The witches, the wolves, the spirits. They are all part of the same cycle, the same rhythm. They are the keepers of the land, the guardians of the earth's secrets. Tomorrow will come, as it always does. The sun will rise, the village will wake, and the cycle of life will begin again. The villagers will go about their work, their daily tasks, their rituals. But, as they do, they will carry with them the weight of the ancient stories, the legacy of those who have come before. The stories will guide them, just as they have guided generations past. They are the whispers that will never fade, the breath of the earth that will continue to move through the land, through the people, through the very air. You breathe deeply, feeling the coolness of the night fill your lungs, and you close your eyes, letting the peace of the moment wash over you. The world is vast, but in this moment it feels small, manageable, and full of purpose. The legacy of the past, the stories of the witches, the beasts, and the spirits, continues to live on. They are part of the world, part of the land, and part of you. The fire may have burned out, but its warmth lingers in the stories, in the hearts of the people, in the very soil beneath your feet. And so, you rest, you sleep, knowing that the stories will continue, that the land will continue, that the world will continue. The legacy of the ancient tales, of the witches, the beasts, the spirits, will live on steady and sure, as it always has, as it always will. As the first light of dawn begins to creep over the horizon, the village stirs gently from its slumber. The quiet hum of life starts once more, as the sun rises, casting a soft golden light across the land. The warmth of the day is slow to arrive, but the promise of it is already in the air as the world begins to turn once again. The village, the land, the river, all of it is part of a cycle, a rhythm that has continued for as long as anyone can remember, and will continue long after. You sit outside, your gaze lifting to the sky, where the first rays of sunlight paint the clouds in soft hues of pink and gold. The cool air is refreshing, carrying with it the faint scent of the earth, the river, and the distant forest. The village around you begins to wake, and the world feels alive with possibility, with the quiet rhythm of life that pulses through it all. The stories of the past, the witches, the beasts, the spirits, they are not gone. They are still here, woven into the fabric of the land, of the people, of the world. They live in the whispers of the wind, the rustling of the trees, the steady flow of the river. The legacy of the ancient tales continues, not as a weight to bear, but as a light, a guiding force that moves through the hearts of the people. The villagers go about their work, their tasks, their rituals, but they carry with them the knowledge that they are part of something much larger, something eternal. They are part of the earth, part of the land, part of the rhythm of life that flows through everything, and as they live their lives, they know that the stories will live on, that the legacy of the past will continue to shape the future. As the day stretches on, the world continues its slow, steady rhythm. The earth moves, the river flows, the trees sway in the breeze. Life goes on, as it always does, but there is a quiet understanding that life is not just about the tasks of the day. It is about the connection to something deeper, something older, something eternal. The witches, the beasts, the spirits, they are not just stories. They are the pulse of the land, the heartbeat of the earth, and they are part of the world, just as the people are. The night will come again, as it always does. The moon will rise, the stars will shine, and the cycle will continue. The spirits will watch, the witches will dance, the creatures of the night will roam, and in that quiet, unbroken rhythm, there will always be peace, there will always be rest. For even in the darkest night, the earth continues to turn, steady and sure, its rhythm unbroken. As you close your eyes, the quiet peace of the night wraps around you like a soft blanket. The world continues, steady and sure, its rhythm unbroken. And in this moment, you are part of it. You are part of the earth, part of the rhythm, part of the stories that have come before and will continue after. The past, the present, and the future are all connected, woven together in an eternal dance, a dance that never ends, never falters. And as you drift into sleep, you know that tomorrow will come, just as it always does, with its work, its rhythm, and its own stories to tell. But for now, there is only the peace of the night, the quiet rhythm of the earth, and the soft glow of the stars above.